Now, what I would love Caitlyn to do is get up one time and then just slap the
Imagine watching a true basketball legend stunned into disbelief by what happened to the WNBA's biggest young star. That's exactly what went down when Reggie Miller spoke out about Alyssa Thomas and her rough treatment of Caitlin Clark, and his words have the entire basketball world talking. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a pro athlete get treated the way Caitlin Clark has been treated this season? Because Reggie Miller watched a Phoenix Mercury game, and what he saw changed his whole outlook on the WNBA. Alyssa Thomas became the center of a storm after Miller didn't hold back his opinion. In his eyes, Caitlin Clark has earned every bit of the love and support fans keep giving her. Now remember, this is Reggie Miller we're talking about. A Hall of Famer. A guy who spent his whole career getting hounded by defenders trying to shut him down with tough, physical play. So when he says something crosses the line, people listen. And here's where it gets interesting. Miller knows the difference between hard-nosed, competitive basketball and something else entirely. So when he called this the most cowardly act I've seen on a court in decades, that wasn't just talk. That was a legend drawing a line in the sand.
There's no way. Look. Players like this come around once, sometimes in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been
once in a generation, certainly.
But no player in WNBA history has had to deal with it.
Something happened on a basketball court that made a legend stop and stare in disbelief. And once you see why, you won't look at this WNBA season the same way again. It all started with one video clip. Alyssa Thomas shoving Caitlin Clark from behind, right when Clark was still trying to recover after taking a poke to the eye. No warning. No face-to-face confrontation. Just a push from behind when she couldn't even see it coming. And the man who couldn't stay quiet about it. Reggie Miller. One of the greatest shooters the NBA has ever seen, and a guy who spent his whole career getting roughed up by defenders who wanted nothing more than to shut him down. So when Reggie Miller says something crosses the line, that's not a random opinion. That's a guy who's lived through decades of physical basketball, telling you this was different. Now here's the part that really got people talking. It wasn't just the shove itself. It was the timing. Reggie Miller zeroed in on that detail hard. Because there's a massive difference between playing tough, hard-nosed, championship-level defense and catching someone off guard when they're not even looking. He made that distinction crystal clear. Before we go further, if this kind of honest basketball breakdown is your thing, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps. Now, back to the story. Reggie Miller pointed out something that a lot of fans have quietly been thinking, but very few big names have actually said out loud. He talked about his own era, one of the most physical stretches in NBA history, where toughness was expected, but respect for the game still mattered. According to him, real competitors don't wait for someone's back to be turned to make their move. They go at each other head on. Eye to eye. That's what makes a competitor great. And that, Miller said, is exactly why Alyssa Thomas's actions were so hard for him to defend. That one comment lit a fire under this entire conversation. But what actually seemed to bother Reggie Miller the most wasn't even the play itself. It was what came after. Alyssa Thomas's response. She basically said she felt like she couldn't win either way, like she was going to get criticized no matter what she did. And instead of owning the moment or admitting the play might have gone too far, that was her answer. That response poured gasoline on an already heated debate. Because according to Reggie Miller, the truly great competitors, the real champions, take ownership, especially when another player's safety might be on the line. He said it straight. Elite athletes don't make excuses, they let their game do the talking. And when a player spends more time defending a questionable move than actually addressing it, that says something about their whole approach to competing. So just like that, this stopped being a conversation about basketball skill and turned into a conversation about sportsmanship and professionalism. Now, let's talk about why Reggie Miller even cares this much. He's made it clear. He thinks Caitlin Clark is one of the most special talents to enter this league in years. Her basketball IQ, her shooting range, her ability to make every single teammate around her better. Miller has nothing but respect for that. But he also made it very clear that no matter how much talent a player has, protecting player safety and protecting the integrity of the game has to come first. Always. Here's the thing. Caitlin Clark is still incredibly young. She should be spending her energy chasing her full potential, not constantly bracing herself for cheap shots or unnecessary physical hits. And Reggie Miller didn't hold back on this point either. He said that when a player goes after a superstar instead of trying to match that superstar's skill, effort, and preparation, that's a red flag. That's not competitive spirit. That's something else entirely. When a player gets put in avoidable danger because of contact that didn't need to happen, that's a real sportsmanship problem. Miller believes basketball should always be decided by skill, discipline, and execution, not by risky, questionable tactics. Naturally, this split the entire basketball world right down the middle. Reggie Miller went even further, comparing what Clark is going through to challenges that other elite athletes have faced throughout their careers. But he made sure to draw a clear line. There's a massive gap between hard, physical basketball and actions that flat out go too far. He gave Clark credit for handling insane pressure and expectations at such a young age, while still becoming one of the biggest names in the sport. But here's maybe his most powerful point. Reggie Miller said if the league doesn't start cracking down on unnecessary, risky plays against its top stars, it risks sending a dangerous message that players can get attention through controversy instead of through actual skill. He believes the growth of the entire league depends on protecting its best talent while still keeping the competition fair and real. He didn't stop there either. Miller warned that if situations like this keep happening without any real response, it sends the wrong signal to the next generation of players coming up behind Clark. Young athletes, he said, should be watching the WNBA and learning about elite skill, hard work, teamwork, and respect, not learning that cheap shots and controversy get you noticed. And yet, despite everything, Reggie Miller's belief in Caitlin Clark's future might be the most powerful part of this entire story. He said that the greatest players in history are often shaped by adversity, and any attempt to intimidate or discourage her, it's only going to make her come back stronger, through skill, poise, and pure basketball intelligence. Drawing from his own experience as one of the fiercest competitors the NBA has ever had, Miller pointed out that elite players have always dealt with tough defense and heavy scrutiny. That's nothing new. But he stressed that Clark is dealing with all of that on top of an insane level of media attention, being one of the most recognized faces in all of women's basketball right now. That's why, according to Reggie Miller, standing behind a player like Clark isn't just about being a fan of one talented athlete. It's about protecting the integrity of the entire sport. He believes she represents everything that makes basketball special: elite talent, incredible court vision, a fierce competitive fire, and the power to inspire an entire generation coming up behind her. He also made it clear the WNBA is standing at a turning point right now, and how the league handles moments like this one could shape its culture and its reputation for years down the road. There are really only two paths here. Either the league keeps letting unnecessary controversy steal the spotlight away from the actual basketball, or it steps up, protects its biggest stars, and lets players like Caitlin Clark reach their full potential and lift the entire game higher. Reggie Miller's message was simple. The decision the league makes right now could shape everything that comes after it. So here's the real question everyone wants answered. Is the WNBA going to take stronger action to protect Caitlin Clark, just like Reggie Miller is calling for? Or will incidents involving players like Alyssa Thomas keep creating controversy and chipping away at the league's reputation? Drop your take in the comments below. Do you think Reggie Miller's criticism of Alyssa Thomas is completely fair? Or is he being too hard on her? And more importantly, do you actually believe the WNBA will step up and protect its top players going forward? The entire basketball world is watching Caitlin Clark's situation extremely closely right now because of what Reggie Miller said. And one thing is becoming harder and harder to ignore. This isn't about one foul, one shove, or one controversial moment anymore. This is about the future of women's basketball, the standards the league wants to set, and how its biggest stars get treated in the public eye going forward. Very few athletes have ever walked into a league carrying the kind of expectations Caitlin Clark did. Millions of fans watch her every single game. Every move she makes gets picked apart from every angle. Every win gets celebrated. Every mistake becomes a headline. That's simply what it means to be one of the most talked about names in basketball today. Meanwhile, veteran players across the league are still competing at the highest level, bringing years of pride, grit, and experience into every single matchup. The WNBA wants to make absolutely sure that fierce competition never crosses over into unnecessary or dangerous play. Fans love intensity. They love real rivalries. But basketball is at its very best, as Reggie Miller keeps saying, when physical competition is balanced with fairness, respect, and sportsmanship. Fans want real, high-level basketball, but they also expect every single player on that court to be treated fairly and respectfully. That's exactly why Reggie Miller's words have sparked such a massive debate. His message was never just about toughness. It was about protecting the purity of the game itself, making sure skill stays the headline, not controversy. Whether you agree with him completely or think this whole situation is being blown out of proportion, one thing is certain. Reggie Miller has forced a conversation that needed to happen. Fans, analysts, former players, everyone is asking the same question. What should happen when a league's biggest stars keep getting targeted with increasingly physical play? Should officials crack down harder to protect player safety while keeping the competitive spirit alive? Should risky plays get punished more severely? Or is this simply part of playing at the professional level? Opinions are still split right down the middle. But here's what's not up for debate. Caitlin Clark has refused to let controversy define her career. She hasn't let physical play or outside noise distract her. She just keeps showing up and competing at an elite level, proving exactly why so many people believe she's the future of this sport. Her toughness and consistency are a huge reason fans across the world continue to respect and admire her. Meanwhile, the WNBA is experiencing attention like never before. Arenas are packed. TV ratings keep climbing. Social media conversations grow bigger every single day. And countless new fans are discovering women's basketball for the very first time. Moments like this one don't just affect a single player or team. They shape how the entire basketball world sees this league. As the season rolls on, every single game matters more. Every Caitlin Clark matchup pulls an even bigger attention. And thanks to Reggie Miller's comments, the spotlight on the WNBA and its top stars just got even brighter. Every controversial play will be dissected. Every officiating call will be debated. And every single game could turn into the next big storyline in what's shaping up to be one of the most talked about seasons this league has ever seen. Now it's your turn. Do you think Reggie Miller nailed exactly what's happening in this league right now? Is the WNBA doing enough to protect its players while still keeping the game physical and competitive? And what impact do you think this whole situation will have on Alyssa Thomas, on Caitlin Clark, and on the future of the league itself? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and the best takes could end up featured in a future video. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more real basketball analysis, exclusive updates, and the biggest stories around the WNBA and its rising stars, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching and for all the support. Basketball history is being written every single night, and trust me, this story is far from over. The next update could be even bigger than this one, so don't go anywhere. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned, because the biggest stories in basketball are still coming.